remember any other major culture shocks when you started becoming a student in the US?
In Nepal, I felt like I had to study more versus US, I felt it was more chill.
In order to get the staff, the manager has to have like a business need. If there's no business need, then they can't like justify the promo. Hi friends, welcome to the channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Maddie and I'm a senior software engineer. Today I'm in Chicago and we have a very special guest on the channel, Sanskriti. Hi! Can you tell me a bit about who you are and what you do?
So I'm Sanskriti. I'm originally from Nepal and I'm currently working as a software engineer and I'm based out of Chicago. Actually just moved last September. So yeah, excited to be here.
How do you find Chicago winter? I'm so curious because I've only been to Chicago in the spring and I've loved it, but all my friends hate Chicago winter.
Yeah, it's definitely not that easy, but I think I've gotten used to it. Got like a nice jacket and just layer up. I think layering up this makes a huge difference, and I've been able to just go on a walk even if it's like negative degrees, even if it's snowing, I will go for a walk. So just have to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna suck it up.
I'm a California girl through and through. We both live in Boston. When I moved to Boston, I had just fake winter clothes. I had to like buy everything.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll notice a huge difference when you like get actual like nice jacket. You'll be like, oh, this feels much better. I was wearing it wrong the whole time because I didn't bring like a lot of winter clothes from Nepal. So yeah.
Yeah, what's the weather like in Nepal? Does it ever get cold?
It's like subtropical. It gets cold, but not as bad as this. Mostly it's just sunny and nice. So that's why I really love Nepal. Want to go back too.
Speaking of Nepal, I was really curious about your journey as a student in the US, especially as an international student from Nepal. Can you give us kind of an overview of when you decided to go to the US, how you made that happen?
Yeah, so I came to the US in 2016 and I was applying to universities, and I got like a full scholarship, and it actually cost me less to study here than compared to Nepal. So I was like, that's a no-brainer. I'm just gonna go and study there. And I studied computer science, got internship, got job, and life is going on.
Wow. How did you get that full ride scholarship?
I initially had like a full scholarship. I think at that time, University of Mississippi was really like, so I studied at the University of Mississippi. They were really pushing for like technology, wanting more people to join the computer science program or other like physics or whatever. So I got, I think, lucky in that sense too. The chancellor really had made a decision to invest more in like STEM. And I think that was like part of the, the scholarship that was granted. So luckily, I got it, and after like a year of studying there, I also got like free housing and with a meal, the full housing stipend as I became an RA for the dorm. So that was really nice. So I used to get like housing, a meal, and also like a little bit of paycheck, for whatever I want to spend on. So that's like yeah, so I guess starting from second year, it was like a full ride, because everything was covered.
That's amazing. I guess speaking of the food, how does Mississippi food compare to Nepal? You can be brutally honest if you want.
Oh yeah, that was like definitely challenging. I remember like going to the cafeteria and I was like, what is this food? But then there was a Qdoba, which I don't know if you all know. There's Chipotle here, but like in Mississippi, there was like Qdoba, which is kind of similar to Mexican food. So that literally saved me. So literally all those 4 years, I was just eating Qdoba. And I had like gained quite a bit of weight from like eating too much cheese and guac and a lot of rice and beans, because they always used to give extra in Mississippi. They're like very nice and kind, soft-hearted, so they'd be like,
Yeah, I have a friend who he was in Mississippi for a week for a competition. He's vegetarian. I think he only ate boiled cabbage the entire week, but I know Mississippi is great food. I think just this it's different food.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian too, so it was a bit tough, but yeah, Mexican food will save you. Like, I love Chipotle. That's why, like, everywhere I go, it's like
I go to lunch.
Yeah, it's like the lifesaver because I feel it's healthy, and also, it's a fast food that I find very healthy.
Besides food, do you remember any other major culture shocks when you started becoming a student in the US?
Yeah, I think there were so many culture shock actually. I guess in Nepal, I felt like I had to study more versus US, and I felt it was more chill. For some reason, which I was kind of surprised because it was my undergrad and, not high school. So I definitely think there's like a more holistic approach to studying. So I was not like just memorizing things. That and the support from professors, there's a lot of one-on-one connection. You can schedule office hours, which I think is not normal back in the home. you'd have to like pay for separate tuition classes to the professors, And there were like a lot of culture shock. Like obviously food, I guess, is a big one. Everyone drinking soda for their breakfast, like they would have like breakfast food, but also soda. So like that was kind of interesting. So they just get like, let's say Chick-fil-A, and then they would have a cup of Coca-Cola in the morning. So you can't like go anywhere if you don't have a car. So that's a big one. That I really love walking, which is why I'm in Chicago. I think I will only live in like walkable cities. I don't like driving, and I think walking is kind of nice. So I think that was another culture shocks. Like nobody walks, and if you're walking, it's like, what's that weirdo?
I have a good friend who's Canadian, and she says the way that we view other countries not driving is the way that they view us. Because I think for her, in order to go anywhere from her town, she has to drive like 2-3 hours. So it's like not a big deal. Versus for me, I have to drive like an hour to go to San Francisco. Like a lot of people from Asia and Europe, public transit is great. You don't have to worry about it. So it definitely puts it into perspective.
For sure, yeah. I just miss just walking anywhere, to grocery or, wherever shops and stuff.
What do you think made your application stand out? Why do you think they chose you specifically?
I had pretty good grades in high school. Like I had a 4.0, and I had like a good TOEFL and SAT score, which a lot of my friends who didn't have SAT also got the same scholarship. So I'm not sure if that really mattered, but yeah, just like applied to a lot of universities and, reached out to a lot of like seniors who were here, just would randomly Facebook message them. Because back then, I guess LinkedIn was not that, like 2016, Facebook was more common. So I just like randomly go to the profile of different like Nepalese group and be like, where is this person studying? And I just like randomly message them and, get response, and I apply to the universities, and I applied to like bunch, like 5 or 6. Definitely like all of those were like safety school, because I was already too late to like apply to really like good universities, but it all worked out at the end. Like University of Mississippi, I think, is a very nice campus, and it's very pretty, and I got a lot of like people were telling me, oh, it might be a little bit more racist and stuff, but inside the college, it was like pretty nice, and there's like diversity, and there's like people from all over the world, so never felt that way. And I never really had to step outside of the college, That campus town was very great. So I don't know about that, like, don't hesitate to apply to like places like that is what I'm saying, because there might be less competition, because a lot of people are targeting like cities and stuff.
And you had a great education.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned that in 2016, when you were applying, you cold messaged people on Facebook to get insights and to get help. In 2025, what advice would you give to Nepalese students, maybe LinkedIn, who want to do something similar, want to reach out and cold reach out to people in the US?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is definitely a great place to start. Just like Googling or like looking up people who have gone to or are attending the college that you're trying to attend. You kind of understand like how the vibe is in the college, and just so that you know how to plan or like have like an expectation, like what to expect, right? By talking to a person or asking if they are willing to jump on a, let's say, 5-minute call, or even text message is fine. Reaching out to the people who have graduated or are currently attending the university that you want to attend. Also do a lot of research on the universities that are giving scholarship, and the way you kind of find out about that is through these groups, like there's like Facebook group, on LinkedIn, Reddit. So just like, I guess, scour. Yeah, there's like our like the Nepal channel, so that I think I use quite a bit. So yeah, all those, like there's like a lot of information online, and just try find the people, and someone will respond to you. Like I've responded to a couple of people, so just like shoot your shot and ask them. Yeah.
Yeah, the worst they can do is don't respond, right? You never know. So shifting gears, I want to talk more about Sanskriti's career in the software engineering space. So she's super impressive. She got promoted very fast to senior a couple years ago. Do you have any advice for aspiring junior engineers who want to reach that senior engineer status?
When you're a junior, you really you don't have a lot of responsibilities. So I would say try to pick up, some of the stuff in office. Like I usually would try to, plan events, or, I'm active in let's say the Gen AI community, just having like a random demo to show during the all hands and stuff like that. So I'd say try to, obviously, number one, do good at your the 9 to 5 job, but also maybe being active, to build the community within the office. Yeah, so taking more responsibilities, and also making sure you're really good at what you do. And a lot of time when you're a beginner, you wouldn't have that much exposure to the technology, or the way of thinking. Really upskilling yourself is kind of the only way. Like for example, when I was in my first year into the software engineering journey, I used to spend like 60 hours a week because I knew that I had this gap that I had to fill because, me not knowing this task was like, not the problem of my employer, right? So I was like, I needed to put some extra effort to make sure like I got where to, my coworkers were. So just upskilling yourself. And I also got like a bunch of cloud certification because at that time the cloud migration was a big thing. So that really helped. And also attending conferences. So I attended like Grace Hopper multiple times, and also like other conferences. And that really shows you that, you're active and you are reaching out to people, networking. And I think that kind of the leadership team definitely like takes a look at it.
I see. So definitely show initiative, both technical and non-technical aspects. That's really cool. I'm curious, does your company explicitly have like expectations for doing like community outreach or doing volunteering, or is it more just implicit, like if you do it then the leaders will notice?
That, yeah, kind of like the latter. It's definitely up to people. Like a lot of them like work remotely, don't even come to the office, which is understandable. A lot of them have like other responsibilities or family. Like I said, the Gen AI community. So learning Gen AI stuff and then just showing it
Oh,
to
so the leadership like knows that you're organizing.
exactly. And they want someone to showcase like a cool product or something in the all hands or something in a town hall. They would be like, hey sons, can you do it? I find it exciting as well, the learning aspect and also like the showing. I think it's the reason why I also got into like Instagram and new content creation. It's like, kind of cool to learn and be able to like teach people or show. Yeah, definitely like volunteering, but it's good that I enjoy it.
That's so true. Teaching is not only fun, but I feel like that actually teaches you more about the subject, because sometimes I have like a surface level understanding of something, but it's only when I have to explain to someone else that I actually dig deep and truly understand what I'm talking about. So I feel like it not only helps the people you're showing the product to or teaching, it also helps yourself.
100%. Yeah.
So, yay, self-improvement. So you talked a lot about the skills that you built in order to show that you are at a senior software engineer level. How was the actual promotion process itself? Was it straightforward, or did you have to go through some like hoops or go through some politics?
Yeah, I think in my case, it was really nice was my manager was really proactive about it. So I never really had to ask for it. Like he just said, even like I had like imposter syndrome. I was like, I'm not good enough for the senior role. He was like, no, these are the things you've done. Like, like I think he really put the story, because at the end of the day, it's him putting the story towards the leadership team, right? So I think it really matters like how your manager is and if he really wants you to succeed, which was in the case. Like I loved my manager so much that I cried when I had to like switch manager. Like I literally was like bawling my eyes out, and I even recorded quite sad. So maybe I'll look back one day.
So having a supportive manager is so important.
He was literally the best. But other than that, I think it also depends. Like these days, I think especially it's like more difficult because every company
Budget
is like
constraints and
exactly, and like everyone's trying to get promoted, and there's just so a lot depends on how the company's doing. So currently, I'm trying to get promoted to architect, which I'm doing all the things that I can do, but again, it's not in my hands.
At a different company, one of my friends told me that in order to get the staff, which is I think the equivalent of architect in your case, the manager has to have like a business need. So even if the person is performing at a staff level, if there's no business need, then they can't like justify the promo. So it's definitely, I see that not just at my previous company or at your company, but it's like a trend overall in the industry.
Well, we're hoping for the best.
Fingers crossed. Next time we bring her on the channel, she's gonna be an architect.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I'm doing everything from my end, and I know that they are noticing it too. So now, I'm just like living up to them, and let's see what happens. Like I'm fine either way.
You mentioned previously that you have definitely dealt with imposter syndrome. Can you tell me a bit more about how that might have affected your career and any advice you'd give to other people who are trying to overcome imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I think imposter syndrome was definitely bad when, especially the first 2 years after I graduated college, because college did not really equip me with all the resources that was required to perform successfully in a client-facing project, especially when clients have a really they have a strict deadline that you're supposed to like deliver in that time. So
and you're like the expert, right? The clients rely on you.
Exactly. And when there was a gap, I just had no option other than to just like spend more time. So that meant like my work-life balance was not that great, but because I spent too much time, working on myself and making sure I had the skills, like reaching out to the right person. And I think as a junior, you're also like hesitant to ask for help. But as you, I think, go up in the senior position, you like ask for help. If you're stuck on something for more than 10 minutes, like I just like ask, because there's no way I can find the answer. Or like, I'm gonna do my research, but if I'm stuck for, let's say, maximum 2 hours, then like I need to ask. And they will like usually point me in the direction that like, gets the velocity, and I'm able to like resolve it, because that's how a lot of time the company function, right?
I feel like a lot of time there's also like domain experts. So it's like it might take you like 2 hours or something, but it'll take them like 5 minutes, but that's just because they've done it before. So it's like not anything upon how you are as engineer. If you just ask for help, and they're probably happy to help you.
No, that's a great point, because like there was one time, I think when I was spending like a week and a half working on this challenge. It was a really difficult challenge. Like we were not able to push like the AWS infrastructure changes for some reason. We're getting some errors, and I had spent like a week and to no luck or anything. And then we like reached out to one of the really like architectural level position for the AWS, and this really like AWS person who everyone goes to help for, and he was able to resolve that in like an hour meeting. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
yeah, and I just left him good feedback. But yeah, so like just asking question at the right time like saves a lot of company time. So that's like number one help. Don't hesitate to ask for help, but when you're asking for help, also tell them like the steps you have tried, to show them that you've actually kind of worked on the problem and are not able to find the solution. That's why you're reaching out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For sure. That's really good advice. Yeah, do your due diligence, but definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. Next, I want to pick your brain on the job search and how you became a consultant. I know a lot of my friends like really wanted to be consultants, and it's a very sought after job. How did you know that you wanted to be a consultant, and how did you get the job?
Yeah, honestly, I did not know a lot about consulting. Like in the past, was like, you just went to like a big tech company. That was like my mind, that I'm just gonna go work for a regular company as a regular developer. But it just happened that I knew someone who worked at this consulting firm, that he referred me, and then I got the internship there. So it just sort of kind of happened, and then I realized, oh, a lot of people like they want to get into consulting. That I realized that after like I got into consulting myself, that it was like you said, a sought after job, like finance, tech, consulting. So I guess it just happened. I never planned for it, but I really enjoy it, because I get to work on different project every 6 months. I'm on a new project, new team, new way of like dealing with people. You get a lot of LinkedIn connections.
Yeah. Do you travel a lot? I know some consultants do.
Yeah, for me, especially after COVID, like the travel has been limited, but I did go travel to the client side like on May, and I might have potential travel coming on this year. I kind of like just working from home though.
I'm fully remote now, and I like the office, but sometimes it's nice not to need to dress up if I don't want to dress up.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of benefits on traveling. When I went to the client side last May, just you're in a room with like a lot of talented individuals. And those people have been in the company for like 20, 30 years, and getting to hear their experience, or like how they think about like a certain problem, or the system, or like whatever problem that they're trying to solve. It's just so amazing that I just felt very blessed that I was in that room, with all those very talented people.
And finally, I wanted to ask, what's your number one tip for international students who are also trying to go down the path of consulting and eventually becoming a senior software engineer?
Yeah, I'd say, I guess the path is kind of the same. Like I still had to give like the lead code interviews and system design, right? Because I was like a software engineer / consultant, practice more lead code, system design, and also learn how to, on the STAR framework or whatever they call it, right? In the consulting life, I think, at least from what I knew, was that they were focusing more on the behavioral part, because as a consultant, we really have to deal with all kind of people. And technical stuff like we can learn, but the people skill is like really important, which is why I think when I work for people from like my company, I always feel like they're super nice, because they really put so much effort on like selecting the best person. Like we're like people friendly, and who know how to deal with context, because there's gonna be a lot, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the channel. This was super, super useful advice. If you want to check out Sanskriti's channel, she makes a lot of day in the lives, and she makes the funniest coding memes on Instagram. So definitely check out her stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.